Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the York City Planning Commission to order. May we have a roll call?
Johnson,
Here.
Velez, Burgos, Davis,
Here.
Wolf,
Here.
Gaines, Moore.
Did everybody receive the previous meeting minutes? Are there any changes? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept the September Planning Commission minutes.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines.
Did everybody receive their copy of the zoning hearing board report? Okay. Is there any unfinished business?
Nope.
Our first case is land development subdivision development, 1001 South George Street. First, we'll hear from staff and then the applicant.
Okay, so this is for their critical care tower that has been in front of you before. So they did some revision. They actually reduced their, for their green space and stormwater on the roof. So I'm gonna let Joe here explain everything. I would have put that stuff in your packets, however, it would have been 500 pounds. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and explain.
Good evening.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Joe Stein, project manager with Warehouse, here representing this project this evening. As Nancy had said, this is at the York Hospital Surgical and Critical Care Tower. This land development plan was before you previously, zoning was before you previously. However, through necessary value engineering, in order to reduce budget, what we had to do was reduce some of the green roof impact. So on the previously approved plan, here with me this evening, we had green roofs on several levels, 4, 5, and 6. Very expensive. How it would have been very nice to have. Unfortunately, the budget necessitated that we take a lot of that out. So what we're going to be left with is a green roof that will be occupiable space in this darker shade of green here. It'll have walkways, benches, trees, grasses, and whatnot. But the smaller, less accessible green roofs, where they were basically sedum trays, would have been used for volume control, rate control, and water quality. We are removing those from the building. What we are doing in that place is we are adding 2 rain gardens to the ground level. So down here, so this is Irving Road at the top. The new tower is here in gray. For reference, the emergency department drop-off is down here. This is the relocated West Drive. On the south end of the building, there's a terrace, essentially, a lawn space between the building and West Drive. So we've taken that green space stormwater management that was going to be on the rooftop and moved it down to the ground level with 2 rain gardens. So as you come in from Irving Road, you would look over to your right, there'll be some lawn, there'll be some plantings in these little puddles, and then underneath there, we'll have stormwater management systems that treat the water underground and hopefully infiltrate it and then discharge it down into a storm sewer system that works its way down West Drive towards George Street. So we met with staff, city engineer, and they determined that the change was significant enough to warrant a revised land development plan. So we've submitted that to city staff. We received comments back on September 3rd. We responded to them on September 18th and believe that they are still under review as of today. So we're here this evening looking for a recommendation of approval of the land development plan conditioned on satisfactorily addressing all of the engineer's outstanding comments as they may be.
Your new rain gardens, is the primary purpose to re-infiltrate or to discharge?
They will do both. So unfortunately, the excavation there is in a lot of rock. Now it's where they are anticipated to be, it's kind of a softer rock. It's we'll get some infiltration, So the water will come off of the roof, come off of the ground, will go into the top of the rain garden. There's a little bit of a puddle. Then there's a soil media. That soil media is designed to infiltrate that stormwater down through. It's a water quality thing. It slows it down. And then whatever can work its way down into the rock will. Everything else that won't will then go out through the storm sewer pipes and then down into the nearest stream.
Okay.
Construction is well underway. It's a pretty amazing site. It's not very accessible right now, but if you are in the area, hopefully willingly and not going to the hospital out of need, they are approximately 40 feet down from Irving Road at this point. So what used to be South Hall and Ketterman sitting up at eye level is now just a sheer wall excavation. I mean, there's supports there and everything, but it is truly an impressive site.
Are there any questions? Anyone from the public that would like to address this case? Do we need three different? Just one? All right. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the revised SDLD plans, ENS plan, PCSM plan, and stormwater calculations conditioned upon addressing any notes from engineering for the property located at 1001 South George Street.
Second?
You second that?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries.
Thank you all for your time. Have a great evening.
You too. Case 29-2024-Z-V-SE, 883 Madison Avenue.
Applicant and owner is Gavin Toomey, 670 Leaf Street, York, PA 17404, zoning district RS2, single family attached residential conservation district. So the applicant would like to convert a single family dwelling into a 2-unit multifamily dwelling. Variance 1 appeal. The applicant seeks a definition variance since the proposed use does not meet the ordinance requirements and conversion from industrial, institutional, or commercial. The property is a single-family home. Staff have reviewed the variance provision of 1311.10.d. Therefore, staff recommends denial of definition variance to allow 2 units for the property at 883 Madison. Variance appeal 2, the applicant seeks a dimensional variance since the proposed density is less than permitted by the zoning ordinance in this district. Staff have reviewed the variance provision in 1311.10.d and finds the property is not big enough for the proposed 2 units. Therefore, staff recommends approval of a dimensional variance to allow 2 apartments for the property at 883 Madison Avenue. Variance appeal 3, the applicant seeks a variance to the special exception condition that the property has not been vacant for 2 years in section 1311.11, subsection C. Therefore, staff recommends approval of a variance to the special exception condition of the property being vacant for 2 years for the property 883 Madison Avenue.
Good evening. Could you state your names for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Gavin Toomey.
Grant Portner.
And can you give us some more details on what you're planning to do?
Love to. Is everybody doing all right tonight? Good to hear. So we're real estate investors. We purchase real estate here in New York City that needs some attention and love, and we go in, we fix up the property. This building, we noticed, had 2 units in the property when we purchased it. It is zoned as a single-family home, as you guys all know, and we are looking to convert this into 2 legal units for our city.
So as Gavin mentioned, there's already 2 physical units there. 1 unit, as we have laid out in the floor plan, is 595 square feet. And the second unit on the 2nd and 3rd floor is 1,118 square feet. And we have installed an additional parking space in the rear to meet the 1.5 parking spaces per unit. We can actually fit 4 vehicles there as tested, but technically we are only going to allow 3.
I have some pictures of the parking spaces if you guys would like to see.
Do we have those? Okay, yes, please. Thank you. So this would be stacked parking, one behind the other?
For one of the units, and then one of the units would be accessible.
When you purchased the property, was it sold to you as a multi-unit or what?
It was well known that it was a single family.
But when we walked the property, it was clearly somewhat converted to a 2-unit physically, but the previous owner, I guess, didn't want to go through the zoning process to get it converted.
And with us having experience of going through this once before on a 4-unit to a 5-unit and trying to get legal, zoning for a 360 square foot apartment, we felt confident that we could come in here and help provide another housing unit to our 16,280 unit shortage that we have here in New York City. And it's there and active. It's just not legal. So that's the purpose behind why we continue to move forward.
Is it currently set up as a 2-unit for electrics and utilities or what?
So right now, the electric is not split. The previous owner installed a 2-gang meter base and 200 amp service up to get connected by Med-Ed and never finished it. So I have an electrical company and I actually plan to split the electric. The gas will not be split. The unit on the first floor will be electric heat and the top floor will be using the existing boiler and use the gas service that's already tied to the building.
Do you know how long before you bought the property the previous owner had started or finished converting and adding that second unit?
Based on what we were told, it was like that for years. I think even before he bought it, he only lived in the second floor apartment, second and third floor, and didn't really do anything with the downstairs, it sounded like.
To fill you in a little bit more about the property, there's washer and dryer already hookups on both floors as well. So just wanted to throw that in there. So when a family does move in there, not the closest, there's trying to think of, I think the closest laundromat is on Roosevelt Avenue, right past the fire hall. So having that as an addition, very nice for a single mother or whatever the case may be, family.
Did you receive your letter from RDA about converting it?
Can you help remind me a little bit about what that is exactly? I'm not quite sure we have.
What did you say?
I sent it to Blenda.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We heard of that. Is that
Under special exceptions, provision 2, it said redevelopment authority of the city of York must provide a letter of recommendation for the building's use
I think I
to be
did.
converted.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. It's right here then.
It's more of a formality, I believe, than most things, but I was just wondering if you'd received it.
That's something we could reach out to Blanda for and ask to see if we could,
It'd probably be good if you didn't have it for your records.
if we did.
If you did and
Okay.
had it for your records.
Yes, sir.
I don't see. I don't even see one. I thought I did. Thought I did.
Are there any questions?
You gotta remember to do that.
Hearing none, is anyone from the public that would like to address this case? Do we have a motion for variance to definition?
I make a motion to recommend approval of a variance to the definition of a multifamily conversion from a different use as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.002A for the property at 883 Madison Avenue in the RS2 zoning district.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez.
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion for the dimensional variance?
I make a motion to recommend approval of a dimensional variance for multifamily conversion from a different use found in section 1304.01-1.02.002 to include conversion of a single-family home into 2 units for the property at 883 Madison Avenue.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion for the waive the special exception?
I make a motion to recommend approval of a variance to waive the special exception provision that the property must have been vacant for 2 years found in section 1311.11C1 for the property located at 883 Madison Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries. Do we have a motion for the special exception to allow multifamily?
Make a motion to recommend approval of a special exception to allow multifamily use as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.002 for the property at 883 Madison Avenue.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Velez,
Aye.
Moore. Sorry, Chris.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Next case is 30-2024-Z-V, 261 Roosevelt Avenue.
Okay, owner and applicant is the same, Michael Miller, 4637 Farminger Drive, York, PA 17406. Zoning district UN2, urban residential neighborhood district. The summary applicant would like to convert a 3-unit dwelling into a 4-unit multifamily dwelling. Variance appeal 1, the applicant seeks a dimensional variance since the proposed density is less than permitted by the zoning ordinance in this district. Staff has reviewed the variance provision in 1311.10.d and finds the property is not big enough for the proposed 4 units. Therefore, staff recommends approval of a dimensional variance to allow 4 apartments for the property at 261 Roosevelt Avenue. Variance appeal 2, the zoning ordinance requires 6 off-street parking spaces for the proposed 4 units, and the applicant cannot provide any off-street parking as this property is landlocked. The applicant is seeking a variance to reduce the number of off-street parking spaces. Staff have reviewed the variance of provision of 1311.10.d and finds that the property does have unique physical circumstances or conditions that warrant relief from the requirement of 1.5 parking spaces per dwelling unit. Therefore, staff recommends approval of a variance to the minimum number of parking spaces required for a multifamily dwelling for the property at 261 Roosevelt Avenue.
Good evening. Could you provide your name for the record?
Yes, sir. Michael Miller.
And could you give us a few more details on what you're doing here?
Yes, sir. Basically, I bought a 4-unit property that wasn't zoned by the city as a 4-unit. Recently, in the last couple years that I owned it, I remodeled it. It was under its own power, own gas, own everything. If you see in the pictures in the packets, it already had everything forever. So I just remodeled it and now we're here. I'm asking for a variance for the parking. I also own 259, which is next door, that has a 3-car garage and a lane to park in. So I'm here to ask for a variance. So
Did you say you purchased it as a 4-unit?
I purchased it as a 3-unit. It wasn't recognized as a city as a 4-unit because it wasn't rezoned because the previous owners didn't put any money into it. When I bought it, it had a massive roof leak and needed a lot of updates. And I did that recently and finished the whole unit and didn't know I needed to rezone it. So
Did you say it was advertised to you as a 4-unit?
it was a 3-unit, but the whole floor upstairs was never touched
Okay.
by the previous owner. In the pictures, it has its own gas, own stove, own everything. It just needed remodeled. So
So it was set up as a 4th unit.
yes, it's always been a 4-unit. Just in the pictures, you can see it just wasn't touched in probably 10, 15 years at least. I knew the previous owners that I bought it from, and they just never put the money into it because they just never had it.
Does the 4th unit have its own entrance and exit?
It does.
The remodeling photos that you have here, are those from the 4th unit?
Yes,
It looks rather extensive.
as in,
It looks
like work.
extensive.
Yeah, I do construction, so I basically worked on it whenever I didn't have work and put money into it whenever my guys were free. So it took a long time, a lot of work, and a lot of money.
Are there any questions? Would anyone like to address this case? Is there a motion on the dimensional variance?
Make a recommendation to approve a dimensional variance for multifamily conversion from a different use found in section 1304.01-1.02.002 to include conversion of a 3-unit home into 4 units for the property at 261 Roosevelt Avenue.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez.
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries. Is there a motion for the variance to require number of parking spaces?
I recommend approval of a variance to the required number of parking spaces as defined in section 1304.01. -03.001.d at 261 Roosevelt Avenue.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines, Moore.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Was the comprehensive plan submitted to the council? Have you heard any
Yes,
feedback?
and it's been moved on. I that's what I was getting, I was waiting for y'all to get finished up there. So it was, moved on from council. I have submitted all the letters and the emails that needed to go to the surrounding municipalities as well as the school district. And it will be on November, I think it's 14th, York County Planning Commission agenda.
So if they accept it, comes back to council for approval?
What it'll be for public hearings.
Public hearing, then approval. Okay. Have you heard back from any of the surrounding municipalities?
The one gentleman, I think he was York Township doctor, he says he had no comments. He just agrees with whatever the city wants to do. That was it. That's the only comments I got back.
Okay. Is there any other comment or suggestions, whatever, for the good of the order? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.